Well, the HBL PSL keeps giving, and today was no different. We've had some interesting games, and this one, Peshawar Zalmi was able to win by just 8 runs. Peshawar Zalmi made 201 for 5. Their top scorer. What an innings by Babar Azam. It was quite the visual elegance that we talk about. And in response, Islamabad United, you saw some good contributions. Azam Khan there making that 75. There was a partnership with Munro as well, but in the end, they fell short. Fantastic win by Peshawar Zalmi then in the HBL PSL. You've got to say that they're also sort of crawling their way back into that league table. We'll be having a look at that later. But you've got to say that Babar Azam was spectacular today, especially for the crowd. I mean, even though Lahore Qalandars was not playing, but the kind of turnout that we saw today, full credit to them and full credit to Peshawar Zalmi for the way they played. Now, I've been joined by Umar Gul and Sanamir. Umar Gul obviously is part of the Peshawar Zalmi camp. Guli bhai, बहुत अच्छी performance Peshawar Zalmi की, you know, full credit to them for the way they played, and especially in the last few games. You know, शुरू में कुछ matches हारे, but अब लग रहा है कि आहिस्ता आहिस्ता वो rhythm आ रहा है. तो पहले तो I want to talk to you about that Arif Yaqub over. I mean, because वो जो एक over था, it was sort of like a turning point. तो आप क्या सोच रहे थे उस वक्त, उसके बारे में बताएं, और आरिफ याकूब की थोड़ी सी जर्नी के बारे में बताएं.
देखिए, पहले तो मेरे ख्याल से हम जो पहले 2 मैच हारे भी थे, तो हम वेट कर रहे थे कि हम एक मैच जीते जहां से हमारा मोमेंटम बिल्ट हो जाए. आई थिंक जब मुल्तान में हम मैच जीते तो वहां से हमारा एक मोमेंटम बन गया था, और हमने अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह उसको कैरी किया लास्ट मैच में भी और इस मैच में भी. और जहाँ तक आरिफ याकूब की बात करें तो ऑनेस्टली मैं तो उसकी ज़्यादा नहीं जानता, लेकिन अभी रिसेंटली उसके कुछ मैंने मैचेस देखे. डोमेस्टिक T20 में उसने अच्छा परफॉर्म किया. एक जो HBL हुआ था वहाँ पे उसने अच्छी बॉलिंग की है, तो मैनेजमेंट ने आई थिंक उन पर ट्रस्ट किया और उसमें एबिलिटी, उसमें स्किल है जो कि उसने शो किया. स्पेशली ऐसे टाइम पे जब लास्ट ओवर हो, आपको 21 रन चाहिए हो, तो उसने अपने आप को बैक किया, अपने स्किल्स पे उसने बिलीव रखी. और जो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ है, आई थिंक उसकी कॉन्फिडेंस को दाद देनी पड़ेगी, क्योंकि इस तरह के एक यंगस्टर के लिए पहली दफ़ा PSL के इतने बड़े प्लेटफॉर्म पे आना, अगेंस्ट इंटरनेशनल प्लेयर बॉलिंग करना, तो मेरे ख्याल से उसमें क्वालिटी तो है ही, क्योंकि उसने जिस तरह अपने पेस को यूज़ किया, उसने जो बैट्समैनों को जिस तरह पेस से बॉल किया, फिर जो लेटर ऑन जो टैलेंटर्स आ गए उसको उनके लिए जो उसने पेस ऑफ कर दिया. आई थिंक आई मस्ट give him credit.
In wickets पे as a fast bowler, it's obviously very difficult. हम देख रहे हैं 200 runs हो रहे हैं, तो आप क्या बताते हैं bowlers को, क्या लेंथ होनी चाहिए, क्या what's the strategy, what are the tactics that we are looking at?
सबसे पहले तो टू बी ऑनेस्ट आज की जो पिच हमने बिफोर द गेम जब मैंने देखा तो आई वाज एक्सपेक्टिंग कि ये 200 वाला मैच है, और जिस तरह फिर हमने स्टार्ट लिया तो हम सोच रहे थे कि 230 to 40 रन हो जाएगा. लेकिन जहाँ पे हम 2-3 जो विकेट हमने लूज की तो वहाँ से हमारा मोमेंटम थोड़ा सा ब्रेक हो गया. लेकिन फिर एंड तक जिस तरह बाबर कहला माशाल्लाह, लाइक मज़ा आया, बाहर से उसको देख के मज़ा आ रहा था. आपके क्वेश्चन पे वापस आऊँगा. फास्ट बॉलर के लिए यही है कि आपको अपनी स्ट्रेंथ पर रहना चाहिए. यू हैव टू स्टिक टू योर स्ट्रेंथ. अगर आपकी स्ट्रेंथ यॉर्कर है तो आई थिंक वन ऑफ द बेस्ट बॉल है, ये आपको करना चाहिए. और आपके पास ये ऑप्शन होता है कि आप अपने फील्डर्स को यूज़ कर सकते हो. स्ट्रेट बाउंड्रीज बड़ी है तो आप जाओ यॉर्कर के साथ. अदरवाइज जिस तरह की ये पिचेस है, अगर आप हार्ड लेंथ को हिट कर रहे हो, लेकिन आज तो बड़ा ही ज़बरदस्त पिच था. मेरे ख्याल से वो जो लास्ट प्रीवियस मैचेस में हमें थोड़ा सा एडवांटेज था फास्ट बॉलर के लिए कि आप लेंथ को हिट करते हो या स्लोअर वन वेरिएशन करते हो, तो बॉल थोड़ा सा ग्रिप कर रहा था. लेकिन आज तो बिल्कुल ऐसा लग रहा था कि हम सीमेंट पे खेल लेते. और आई थिंक क्रेडिट जाता है अगेन बॉलर्स को कि इतने अच्छे पिच के बावजूद भी अपने नर्व्स को कंट्रोल किया, और ऐसे प्रेशर मैच पे टिल द लास्ट 2 आवर में 21 रन और 6-7 आपकी अगर विकेट बची हो, तो मेरे ख्याल से फास्ट बॉलर को क्रेडिट जाता है, और साथ में स्पिनर्स को भी.
और उमर भाई, एक तो आपकी डैरन सैमी के साथ जो ओवरऑल एक एज ए हेड कोच है, बॉलिंग कोच, जो केमिस्ट्री है वो भी बताएं, और बाकी बॉलर्स का जो रोल था उसके ऊपर भी थोड़ी सी बात करें.
नहीं, मेरा ख्याल से हम बाहर बैठ के ना डगआउट में बड़ा एक दूसरे की बड़ी हेल्प करते हैं. स्पेशली मैं, हाजी भाई, अकरम भाई हो गए, डैरन सैमी के साथ बड़े अच्छी केमिस्ट्री बनी हुई है. और स्पेशली जो हमारे जो 2 एनालिस्ट है, एक हमारा इंग्लैंड का है जॉर्ज और एक लोकल उस्मान हाशमी, वो भी हमें काफ़ी डेटा देते हैं, काफ़ी स्टेट हमें बताते हैं. तो हम बाहर से हम एक डिसीजन लेके उसको बताते हैं, अंदर कप्तान को टाइम टू टाइम फॉरवर्ड करते हैं. लेकिन जो बेस्ट पार्ट है کہ وہاں سے کپتان سے ہمیں جو رسپانس آ رہا ہے, جو باہر سے ہیڈ کوچ ان کو بتاتا ہے, آپس میں ان کی جو ایک انڈرسٹینڈنگ ہے, ایک کمیونیکیشن ہے, اور جو سب سے امپورٹنٹ ہے ٹرسٹ لیول. کپتان کی ہیڈ کوچ پہ ٹرسٹ کافی زیادہ ہے. وہ اس کے جو بھی بتاتا ہے, سم ٹائم کپتان کی بھی ہم سنتے ہیں, وہ جو بتاتے ہیں ہمیں کپتان کو بیک کرتے ہیں. لیکن اگین اٹس اے ٹیم ورک. جس طرح پلیئرز 11 اندر کھیلتے ہیں, اس طرح ہمارے جو باہر کی جو ٹیم مینجمنٹ ہے, جو سپورٹنگ سٹاف ہے, وہ بھی کافی ہیلپ کرتے ہیں اور میوچل انڈرسٹینڈنگ پہ ڈیسیژن لیتے ہیں.
اچھا یہ بتائیں کہ بابر اعظم کی بھی اب تھوڑی سی بات کر لیتے ہیں. یو نو وی اسپوکن اباؤٹ جسٹ بولنگ اینڈ جنرلی کہ کیا تھا, بٹ for him to perform, come out and perform the way he did, there's obviously been a lot of talk کہ جی ان کے اسٹرائک ریٹ کے اوپر آپ کو پتہ ہی ہے کہ کیا کانورسیشنز ہوتی رہی ہیں, بٹ جس طرح سے وہ آج کھیلے اور جس طرح سے وہ کھیلتے آ رہے ہیں, it looks like he's growing in confidence and he's really evolving as a player.
دیکھیے بات یہ نا کہ آج بھی میچ سٹارٹ ہونے سے پہلے آئی تھنک مغرب کا ٹائم ہو رہا تھا, اور کسی نے مجھے پوچھا کہ یار آج تو گراؤنڈ بالکل خالی ہے اور لاہور کا میچ نہیں, شاید اس لیے کراؤڈ نہیں آ رہا. لیکن آج اگر آپ نے دیکھا فل گراؤنڈ وہ فل تھا, کراؤڈ فل تھا, سب بابر اعظم کو دیکھنے آئے تھے. آپ اس سے اندازہ لگائے کہ بابر اعظم کتنا لائک ان کی فین فالوور دیکھ کے لوگ کتنا چاہتے ہیں کہ جب وہ کھیلتا ہے. تو میرے خیال سے آبویسلی سم ٹائم ہوتا ہے کہ ایز کیپٹن جب آپ کے ساتھ بیک ٹو بیک وکٹیں گرتی ہے تو سم ٹائم آپ گیم کو لے کے جاتے ہیں, اور جو اس کا جو رول بھی ہے وہ اگر آپ بھی آج بھی دیکھیں تو اس کا اسٹرائک ریٹ میرے خیال سے اتنے پریشر سے ہم جب نکلے بھی ہے, بیک ٹو بیک ہماری وکٹیں گری, پھر اس نے جس طرح فنش کیا, تو میرے خیال سے یہ زیادتی ہوگی بابر کے ساتھ کہ ابھی بھی لوگ ہے کہ اس کا اسٹرائک ریٹ نیچے, لیکن اس نے اپنے گیم کو کافی امپروو کیا, کافی چینجز لے کے آئے وہ اپنی گیم میں.
ٹھیک ہے, یہ تو اب ہم آگے جا کے دیکھیں گے کہ چینجز ہوپ فلی برقرار رہیں, اسی طرح کھیلتے رہیں اور بہتر ہوتے رہیں. But just a quick look at how things went for Peshawar Zalmi's bowling. Remember there was a time when Azam Khan and Colin Munro were batting together. It seemed like they had a bit of a partnership going, but then it all fell down to Arif Yaqub with his wonderful spell. جو ایک ہمیں نظر آیا جو انہوں نے اوورز آخری میں جو اوور کرائے ہیں, اس کے علاوہ apart from that there were contributions from everybody else as well, everybody chipping in with 1 wicket each. Like we said, it's never easy out there for the fast bowlers, and you know, especially in these conditions, like you said, because you were somebody who used to bowl the Yorker so well. I mean, everybody remembers you for that Yorker, reverse swinging Yorker. Aapki jo hoti thi, he was known as the bulldozer. He was known as the bulldozer. So, who's the bulldozer in this team then?
آئی تھنک ہم کافی ریلائی کر رہے ہیں سلمان ارشاد پہ, کیونکہ اس میں وہ ایبلٹی ہے کہ وہ یارکر کر سکتا ہے. پریویس گیم میں بھی اس نے ہمیں میچ جتایا, اس سے پہلے بھی اس نے کافی میچز میں پشاور زلمی کو میچز جتایا, اور اپنے جو جہاں پہ بھی اپنی ٹیم کو ریپرزینٹ کر رہا ہے, اس کی جو ایک سلوور ون جو ہے اور ایک جو یارکر ہے, کافی ریلائی کر رہے ہیں اس پہ. آل جو سم ٹائم ہو جاتا ہے, رنز بھی ہو جاتا ہے, لیکن اسٹل آئی تھنک ایز اے بالنگ یونٹ اگر ہم مزید میچز جیتنا چاہیے یا یہ ٹورنامنٹ جیتنا چاہتے ہوں, تو ہم تھوڑا سی یہ ہے کہ مڈل کے اوور میں ہمیں ایک ایسا بالر چاہیے ہوگا کہ جو ہمیں مڈل میں جہاں پہ ہمیں ضرورت پڑے وکٹ لینے کے لیے ہمیں وکٹ دلا دے, کیونکہ جب آپ ٹائملی آپ کو وکٹ نہیں ملتے تو آپ کو جو نا پرابلم کو فیس کر سکتے ہو. اسٹل ہم وہ جو چھوٹے سے جو ایک مسنگ پارٹ
جانا ہے اپنی ٹیم کے ساتھ سیلیبریٹ بھی کرنا ہے. تھینک یو سو مچ فار یور ٹائم.
تھینک یو.
آپ آئے یہاں پہ ہمارے اسٹوڈیو میں, اتنی دیر میں وی کین ہیو اے لک ایٹ دی league table. We can have a look at the league table quickly to see where Peshawar Zalmi is. Like I said, it's getting really interesting in the HBL Pakistan Super League because you've got Multan Sultans right at the top. Then there's Quetta Gladiators and Peshawar Zalmi with back-to-back wins for them. They are growing in confidence and they are growing on this league table as well. All right, now we've been joined by Dominic Cork, who joins us once again in the pitchside studio. Well done to Peshawar Zalmi. We've spoken about how good they were today, how important these 2 points were for them, the fact that they've got some rhythm going. But Islamabad United, I mean, it's just disappointing for them the way it all sort of ended, and they've got to sort out that top order, Dom.
They have. Good to, obviously, though, that eventually got some runs, obviously, at the top, and they're trying to get that right combinations, haven't they? I think that's what's been the problem with them, is getting the combinations. Martin Guptill may play the next game, Alex Hales may come back in. But ultimately, they got themselves into a position to win the game, and it took something fantastic from Yaqub to obviously stop them doing it. And it's the same as any 2020 game. You lose a game, can't worry about it. Whatever comes next, and that's what Islamabad will have to think. The Zalmi, Darren Sammy, flying high, 3 from 3. You know, he'll just want that next game to keep coming as quickly as possible.
Sana, Azam Khan today was, again, you know, he was doing what he's supposed to be doing, basically, hitting it out of the park, and that's what his role is, that's what's expected out of him. How did you enjoy his innings today?
I think he was fabulous. The kind of shots he played and the way he plays fearlessly, even though he was coming in with back-to-back failures in the last couple of games, but he came out fearless. And he was definitely helped by the Peshawar bowlers. They were at that point in the middle overs, what Umar Gul was also talking about. They were not at their best. But credit to this man, the way he used the bad deliveries to his advantage and the way he took pressure, all the pressure off from Colin Munro. And his power hitting, his ability to hit sixes is amazing. And definitely he played well, but he would be really disappointed that he did not finish the match.
I was just going to come to that. You know, when you play an innings like that, Koki, and you know that you've got going and you're able to score some runs, how important is it to be closing the game eventually?
Yeah, but in some ways it's not just down to him. They had an opportunity to win the game. Of course, what you want as a coach or as a captain is your senior player to go on and win the game. So if it is Azam Khan, if it is Colin Munro, one of them two has to go deep and take it deep. And it took something special to stop them. So they got themselves into a position to win the game, and they didn't quite do that. And what a player has to do is go away from it, think about what he could have done differently. It was Naveen ul Haq who got, obviously, Azam Khan out. And eventually, obviously, Yaqub got those 4 wickets in the over. So ultimately, you know, in some ways, Mike Esson will be sitting there thinking, look, we nearly chased down a massive total there. We didn't quite do it, through some absolute brilliance from a leg spinner. But ultimately, you know, they've got to find a way to start winning, because you can see that obviously the Kalandars tomorrow night, well, are they out or not? They've got to try and all catch up those top 2, and that'll be something they're going to have to start doing right now.
And the tone for Peshawar Zalmi was set up at the top by none other than Babar Azam. I mean, it's expected that he's going to come up with something special because he's Babar Azam. The crowd was there to literally watch him. What was special about his innings for you today, Sana?
I think firstly his consistency is unrealistic. Like, it's unreal the way he has been coming out, scoring runs every pitch, every team, against every team he comes and scores. But the conversion of the last 50, like 20, the first 50 came more than 30 balls, but the last 50 came around on 20 deliveries, and that acceleration. Yesterday he was unable to get a boundary after the power play, so converting that into something so special, I think that's brilliant. I'm also one of those players who talk about Babar Azam technically as a captain. I think today bringing in Arif Yaqub from the bigger boundary, because he batted all 20 overs, he exactly knew where the runs were for the batters, and as a captain also he utilized the bowlers pretty well. So both tick off for him. As a batter, he's at the top of the table with 330 odd runs, and as a captain also he was spot on today.
Also the fact that he was able to convert that 50 into 100, Koki. Often when you're looking into, you know, T20 cricket, you're looking at those 50s and 40s, but to be able to play this kind of a knock, it sort of really puts you in a dominating position.
Let's be honest, there's been critics of Babar Azam about strike rate, you know, and it's been...
Really?
Absolutely.
Have we got one in our comms box?
We have. And I think since that criticism, you've seen a better Babar Azam. And I think that's what you've got from him now. You know, the amount of runs that this man has scored, the amount of centuries scored since 2020, more than anybody else in the world playing cricket in T20. The way that he played, the way that he accelerated, I just think he's a superb player. And I think what you're seeing now as a Babar Azam is on top of his game. I think he's helped a lot by Saim Ayub at the top. I think that releases a little bit of pressure, the way that the left-hander plays. So that releases something from him. And it was so difficult. Look, we've all been in that commentary box upstairs. Who should have been player of the match? Should it have been Yaqub? Should it have been Babar Azam? And I'm a bowler, and I went with Babar Azam because I just think he set it up. He set that big innings up. I know that Sana would have gone spinner. I know that Waqar Yunis is not speaking to me.
That's assuming.
You know what I mean? You know, and that's the way it is. But two quality performers that obviously deserve to be player of the match, and I just went with obviously the captain Babar.
Let's have a look at what's happening tomorrow then. Sana and Koki, it's the final game here in Gaddafi Stadium, Lahore. Looks like a long stint that we've had here. We move on to different venues after this. And it's a big one. Once again, the finalists of last year, Lahore Qalandars, they're taking on Multan Sultans, and Qalandars, well, they've lost a couple of games on the trot. I'm pretty sure that the fans will turn up for them because they are quite loyal, and we've seen them turn up even on a Monday. Come on, I mean, you've got to give them credit. It's a working day. People are out there working, but they still have time to watch the cricket. This is what the HBL PSL is about. Thank you once again to both of you. It was a fantastic game of cricket once again. Peshawar Zalmi versus Islamabad United, and people were thoroughly entertained as well, courtesy Babar Azam's masterclass. This is what we're here for. This is what we come to witness, and this is what we're expecting tomorrow as well. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Don't go anywhere.